Did you know that one landmark case changed the way businesses operate and gave birth to the concept of limited liability? Today, we dive deep into the fascinating legal battle of Salomon versus Salomon Company Limited from 1897. This case is more than just a boring old court dispute. It's a pivotal moment in corporate law that still affects how companies are run today. Why is this important? Because this case established that a company has its own legal personality, separate from its shareholders, which is crucial for entrepreneurs around the world. Now, let's take a closer look at how this case unfolded. It all started with Aron Salomon, a manufacturer of leather boots, who decided to take his business a step further. In 1892, Salomon transformed his successful sole proprietorship into a limited company, aptly named Salomon Company Limited. At first glance, this seemed like a standard business move, but soon it became a debate over ownership and responsibility. When he incorporated the company, Salomon became the major shareholder, holding most of the shares himself. In fact, he even included his wife and children to satisfy the legal requirement of having at least 7 shareholders. However, everything changed when the company began to experience financial difficulties. Unfortunately, Salomon Company Limited quickly collapsed, leaving behind a trail of unpaid debts. As creditors knocked on the door, they argued that Salomon himself should be held responsible for the company's debts. Their reasoning? They believed that the company was nothing but Salomon's agent, or an extension of himself. This led to a dramatic legal showdown. The creditors claimed that Salomon had merely created a sham company to shield himself from liabilities. The case made its way through the lower courts, where Salomon's arguments were met with skepticism. Both the High Court and the Court of Appeal ruled against him, declaring that Salomon Company Limited was just a facade. In their eyes, he was personally liable for the company's debts. Imagine how Salomon must have felt, seeing his hard work and entrepreneurial spirit portrayed negatively. But this story was far from over. Undeterred, Salomon took his case to the House of Lords, the highest court in the land. This time, the ruling flipped the previous decisions on their heads. In a unanimous decision, the House of Lords established some key principles that would change corporate law forever. They ruled that Salomon Company Limited was indeed a valid, legal entity under the Companies Act. The company had its own separate legal personality, distinct from its shareholder, even if Salomon controlled it completely. The Lords emphasized that merely being the sole controlling shareholder did not expose Salomon to personal liability for the company's debts. They reaffirmed the principle of separate legal personality, emphasizing that a company exists as a separate figure, even if one person dominates it. This concept is crucial as it protects shareholders like Salomon from bearing the financial burdens of the company beyond their investment. Let's break down the implications of this landmark decision further. Firstly, this case reaffirmed the doctrine of limited liability. What does that mean for business owners? Simply put, shareholders are only liable for the debts of the company up to the amount they invested. So, if a company fails, you can't come after the personal assets of its shareholders for repayment. It's a safety net that encourages entrepreneurship, allowing individuals to take the leap of faith without the fear of losing everything they own. Secondly, Salomon versus Salomon underscored the corporate veil principle. This principle states that courts cannot pierce through the corporate veil to hold shareholders liable except in cases of fraud or misconduct. In simpler terms, the structure of a company protects its owners as long as the company is operating within the law. The House of Lords made it clear that just because Salomon controlled the company didn't mean it was just an extension of himself. Now, let's relate this back to modern business. When you start a company today, you can incorporate and limit your personal liability, thanks to the foundation laid by this case. Think about tech startups, small businesses, and even larger corporations that benefit from this legal framework. The idea that personal and corporate assets are distinct allows people to venture into business without the overwhelming fear of personal financial ruin. However, this ruling isn't without its critics. Some argue that it allows individuals to escape their responsibilities if they mismanage their companies. The balance between protecting entrepreneurs and ensuring accountability is still being debated today. Even so, the heart of Salomon versus Salomon is a fundamental principle in corporate law that cultivates innovation and economic growth. Have you ever thought about starting your own business? If so, understanding the implications of this case could be essential for your entrepreneurial journey. If you enjoyed this breakdown of Salomon versus Salomon and Company Limited, please give this video a thumbs up. If you have questions or thoughts on this case and its impact on modern business, leave a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe for more insightful content on important legal cases that shape our world today. This case is not just about Salomon, it's about everyone who dreams of building something great. Keep this story in mind as you forge your path in the business world. You never know which legal precedent could change your life.